there's some fundamentals of business that has been removed from get-rich schemes, from almost pyramid schemes now, removal of all risk. Every single thing is about bypassing the hard work. Don't bypass the hard work. Work fucking hard. Wake up every day. Go to sleep exhausted. Argue with your wife a little bit. Get a divorce. I got one.
I've got one as well.
Yeah, but brothers.
Yeah, definitely.
And then from that, start the ball rolling.
Question I have. As you grew the business, more staff, more equipment, more cost, more debt, what steps did you have to go through to go from an owner-operator to the CEO?
I wanted to put down on my business card, Big Boss.
I used to have manager. Fucking Drew, I loved manager, and my company said I had to become managing director.
Well, that's what they did to me. Everyone got together and they said, no, you're not allowed to be the big boss. And I said, yeah, but I am the big boss, but I'm not the big boss, because sometimes the big boss is in the kitchen cooking the eggs. Sometimes he's got the vacuum cleaner when everyone is working their ass off, but, there needs a little bit of...
I do it in my office all the time.
Yeah, I find it relaxing. Sometimes I'm out in a meeting for $10 million.
Yeah.
And I'll get it done. Call me when you need, but also call me if you need a vacuum. Or would you like to hear one of my favourite lines?
Hi, everyone. Good to be back. Today, I have a guest that we kind of bonded over LinkedIn chat. I have Jimmy here from Starbucks. And, sir, welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We've been having a little chat beforehand, but I think you and I can just get straight into it. Before the 49,000 Instagram followers you got, before I found you with Aaron Witt in 2023, and before the social media and the personal brand, how important to you was believing and backing yourself with your vision to where you are today?
Big question. I don't know if it's necessarily having a vision at the beginning. I used to joke with my friends about my entire sort of ethos was just dig bigger holes, move more dirt, get more trucks.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a necessary 5-year plan in terms of what they'll tell you that you have to do in an MBA, where you go to a university, they sit down and they say, okay, this is what you've got to do. Business plan first off, and then after you get the business plan, now we're going to implement it and go, and we're going to spend this much on advertising and this much in this silo and blah, 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 blah. No, I was just digging holes.
Okay.
And then from that, the vision slowly starts to, grow. However, it's still the same. Dig bigger holes, truck more dirt, provide a good customer service and all of that rubbish afterwards. However, we can't be... I can't dig pools in backyards anymore. I've got 150 people at work.
Correct.
If I'm trying to dig a pool, we're going to have to dig a lot of fucking pools.
It's going to be a big fucking pool.
Well, it's going to be...
I've heard you like deep holes.
Only the deepest for me.
Yeah. Deeper the better.
Not that I can use them. However...
No, as I said, I was watching one of your videos. I believe it's cheaper to excavate the site if the site's already got a deep hole in it.
100% it is. 100%.
I love that. I've watched a little bit of your stuff. So from what you're telling me is it's kind of sort of, we're gonna work this out as we go along. There was no plan B. You knew you're going to be an horrendous employee. You had to go to work somewhere.
Nah, so what happened was I was working at a soap factory.
Fuck off.
Running a soap machine, yeah.
Okay.
So I'd worked there for a couple of years. I started off their work experience at a friend at school.
Right.
With her parents. And then I ended up running one of the soap lines at about 19 years old. I'd taken some time off of uni because uni definitely ain't for me.
What did you study at uni?
Political science.
What?
Yeah, bad.
Oh, great. I'm like, okay.
I didn't fit in really well studying political science. My views were a little bit conservative for the university that I went to, and my views around things such as third world debt and stuff like that and where it comes from and how to fix it might not be conducive to a good, robust discussion in a...
I don't think we don't have enough robust discussions.
I couldn't agree more. I think that...
Everyone gets fucking offended.
Everyone is offended at all times. I actually got kicked out of the classroom on the first session for talking about third world debt. So...
how long did you survive in uni? worked out?
Well, I was enrolled in one semester.
Yeah.
I attended class for about 4 weeks to 6 weeks, but I did attend university to go to the pub there, so that I could drink
Think
and
about the
chat to
next.
people. Yeah.
It's fucking
What-
scary, our story.
while making soap, and then I ended up having a fight with the boss's son, and I left. And
What was the fight over?
he threw a soap bar at me, and I didn't like it.
Okay.
And
And this is probably first of many times where you've spoken your mind.
I did speak my mind at that point. That
Okay.
is a very polite way to put it, very politically correct. And yes, I
Well, you
spoke
did
my mind.
study political science, so I thought,
Absolutely.
you know, we could be a bit more politically correct.
Then I walked out, and I knew I had some knowledge of driving the machines because my grandpa's company, my dad's
Yep,
company.
absolutely.
And then I walked out, and for some reason, my mum called me, and she said, I felt like I needed to call you right now. And I said, it's so strange. I just quit. She hung up on me, called my dad. My dad called his friend, and he rung me up and said, grab your work boots, you're coming to dig holes. About a month after that, I decided I couldn't work for someone else. And it would be a fantastic, brilliant idea to buy a 3-ton excavator.
Yep.
So I took the pay slips from the soap factory, because I still have them, you see, and went to the bank, got a loan for a car, went and bought a car.
Yep.
We'll use the bunny ears. Car.
A vehicle.
Yeah.
It had wheels. Well, sort of. It had an engine.
It had an engine.
And tracks.
The tracks, it's mobile.
And you do need to register it.
And if you're driving it on the road,
Right.
which I did not, but that's okay. We won't get into semantics. We'll keep it lighthearted.
What was your first? What did it cost you first excavator?
$23,000.
That was a nice car.
Yeah, not bad.
Back then as well, man. That would have been fucked you.
Hey, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Can't pick up your friends in it though. A little bit awkward. So then, went and bought that after about, it was a month or 6 weeks. The story's got a little bit, changed as sometimes it's 2 weeks if I need to make myself sound a little bit better. Sometimes it's 8 weeks if I'm being reserved in that conversation. But it wasn't very long afterwards I went and bought a machine.
Yep.
And then I had no fucking work. None. Zero.
Yes, I read this. Now, I think you call yourself an entrepreneur. I think I would call you a great marketer. And because that fucking name you came up with.
Yeah.
And the mindset around that is fucking brilliant. I'll let you tell the story.
Okay. So for those who haven't watched or seen or heard, but a lot of you have, I started off and called my first ABN, Starbuck and Son Contracting. Even though my dad had nothing to do with it, he's an electrician. He would have been really upset if he got a phone call because, your son's here, he's knocked down the house. What do we do?
Yep.
My dad would have been like, I'm connecting a PowerPoint. Which son are you talking about? Because he's got 3. So, but that never happened. There was no houses knocked down at that point in time. Maybe a bit after, but then, we just, I just rock up and, because I had no work for a very long time, and then so I traded underneath my personal name.
Yeah.
James Starbuck, sole trader.
Yep. Same with TRS, man.
Then changed it to Starbuck and Son Contracting, went and quoted jobs and just said, my dad is just going to review the quote after I put it together for you, but he's just in the back end and I'm starting to run my own gigs now.
How long did that last before your clients were asking different types of questions about the son part of this, and if it's just you?
They never really gave a shit after I started.
Yeah, okay. So you built rapport with the client.
Rock up, build rapport with the client, talk about the job, and then make them believe that you're going to do a good job and deliver on that. So part of their worry was young people don't get out of bed. They do not rock up on time. If they get out of bed and rock up and look outside and it's 6 a.m. and my truck's sitting out the front, tick. They don't need to call no one. Then unload it, be professional, start the work, start smashing it out. I had to know how to drive the machine. I had to know how to drive the truck. And then you start doing those fundamentals. They're not going to call dad at the minute.
Nope.
Then you complete the job. Don't need to call dad. And then finish it, and then that's it.
Okay. How long when, you thought, I've actually got something here? As in, you felt the corporation starting to foundational, starting to come out. Like how long before, a lot of people want to start their own businesses, right?
Yeah.
And they want to do this and they want to do that. But a lot of people that come to me about starting a business want fucking it all overnight. And I'm saying,
Well, I reckon I felt like shit and was broke
yep.
up until I turned over 25 million bucks.
Okay.
I was still broke, which is probably
Which is a good place to be, because how many people do we know have started a fucking business over at 5 million and then they just, yeah.
But I stayed starving.
Yeah, good.
Starving until, well, I'm probably still starving now compared to a lot. But, you know, because of that ramp up and the growth that we were doing, and, you know, I turned over only 50 grand in my first year.
Yep. Not bad for a
20-year-old.
man.
Yeah, it's 50 grand. But then my last year by myself, I almost turned over $1 million with no employees.
Yeah, that's good.
In my early 20s.
Is that because you learned quickly to take it from a one excavator situation to still working with yourself, but starting to indirectly put systems and procedures into the company that allowed you to grow to that $1 million?
Nah.
Okay.
Work more.
Work more.
Work more.
Okay, I fucking love this.
For all of the people who are telling you, put in the systems, employ the subbies, get the people, don't do your own payroll. No, fuck it. Work more. Work 100 hours a week.
Fucking
work more. And then at the end of it, then you're 21, 22 years old, your accountant calls you up and he goes, hey, look, you're a bit fucked. You got to pay 400 grand in tax because you made $800,000. And you go, wait, what do you mean $400,000 in tax?
Then you get the payroll tax bill as well.
But I wasn't even up to payroll tax at the beginning.
No, you wouldn't have been because you're sole employee.
I was the only employee. I turned over a couple of million. I made 800 grand.
I bet you your insurance broker was pissed off because you had to do a recalculation.
I've done a few recalculations.
and you're like, oh yeah, we've got a bit of money in the account. And then your insurance broker, drops the thing on the table, and and then you go, fuck.
Yeah, I think that there's some fundamentals of business that has been removed from get-rich schemes, from almost pyramid schemes now, removal of all risk, where they'll provide you a ready, set, go business model, buy the franchise, bang, you can go out and earn 250 grand. Or buy Bitcoin next year, worth $1 million. Or do, every single thing is about bypassing the hard work. Don't bypass the hard work. Work fucking hard, wake up every day, go to sleep exhausted, argue with your wife a little bit, get a divorce. I got one.
I've got one as well.
Yeah, brothers. And then from
probably by the end of this, definitely.
And then from that, start the ball rolling. Use your own cash. Don't go to no investors. Don't put out the thing that, like all of this stuff about, I'm going to go and get, a capital raise. What the fuck is a capital raise?
An excuse not to work.
Well, you're spending other people's money, and I sit there and I go, like, I remember looking up what it is, because now I'm starting to be a businessman. I don't know, let's call it, I'm turning over 40 million bucks. So then I'm sitting there and I'm going, well, all these people are doing capital raises. I better learn what a capital raise is. Maybe I could do one.
Maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah, EBITD. What the hell is those letters mean?
100 fucking %.
Amortization. What is an amortization?
It's. I wouldn't have a fucking clue. I
can tell you now.
You dig dirt. I sell people.
But people get lost in it. Like you just say, you're selling people into jobs. You're trying to put a round peg in a round hole.
Correct.
That they don't know that each other exist. That's simple.
You know what? My job has changed now to more of a concierge service. As in, I've got to sell your company.
Yeah.
Candidates,
and I can get a back rub and a Rolls Royce for concierge.
But that's exactly what it's almost like you have to now sell in not just the job anymore. It's 100%. Like, okay, if you want to work, this is what you do overtime, not do overtime. I've been in recruitment 24 years, right? And the one thing that does my fucking head in with trades people telling me they don't want to work overtime.
Yeah.
Does my fucking head in. Like before everyone's like, want overtime. Now it's like, I don't want to work.
No, we need a work-life balance.
Oh, yeah. Work-life balance. Or work 4 fucking days.
But I also want to live in a $2 million house. I want to drive a BMW, have a jet ski, wakeboard, fly business class, go to Europe, bigger French Riviera, spritzers, beautiful, delicious. However, no overtime.
Why the fuck is it? Like, when the fuck did European summer come a thing at such scale?
And at such an age too.
What the fuck?
Like, you know, they're going over there at a young age and
Younger.
spending a long time.
Yep.
Now, I got a girl who works for me. She's incredible.
Yep.
She went away for 2 months.
Yep, nice.
I haven't gone on a 2-month long holiday ever. Right, 2 months.
Would you know what to do with yourself for 2 months holiday?
No,
Away from the gear,
no,
away from the
I
machine.
start to do like a little bit like this and
Okay.
turn a little bit.
You got to keep busy.
Well, yeah, I'm not meant to be. Like my grandpa,
Yeah.
they started working when they were 17, 18.
Yep.
And they stopped when they were 60.
Well, but that's what you
And
did
then
then.
everyone complains about baby boomers and the money and investment and everything else like that.
Yep.
But if they got told to do overtime, it wasn't even a question, it was an expectation. Now, there's a flip side of that. We want happy employees.
Yep.
I want happy people.
Right.
I want to be the culture around a company needs to be that we are supportive and flexible.
Yep.
However, if you can also bring some of those old school traditional values that says, if you work hard, I will pay you. If you work hard, I will appreciate you. I will give you something to strive for. A allocations person turns into a head of allocations, who turns into a BDM, who turns into a sales manager, general manager, you name it, I'll do it. But there needs to be a marry here. Why have we gone so far over the other side of the seesaw that says, okay, hang on a second, we're going to put in a yoga room over there and we're going to give you, you know, Google or whoever the fuck it is delivering their groceries every day. You can put in a grocery order.
Can you?
They had that. It was one of them, Alphabet or whoever the fuck it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, so then they have their
You forgot about the ping pong table.
Yeah, ping pong table, nice quiet pods to take a minute, relaxation, you know, to just take the load off.
Funny story. I used today to go work for PwC, and I went up to their cafeteria area. They had a $400,000 fucking meditation room.
Yeah, now we're talking.
$400,000.
$400,000. And they're going to come to me and tell me my rates are going up just a little bit while they're putting in a meditation room.
Yeah.
While I'm sitting there having a conniption because a builder won't pay me.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to how builders pay. I have an interesting question for you. Who makes up your mastermind group? Because I know you've got family working for you, partners. Who makes up your mastermind group? Because we are all one person.
Yes.
And we only know what we know. And the other people here, they know something else. So who's in your mastermind group?
So we have a few different pieces.
Yep.
Of course. I've got my business piece. I've got my family piece. It's very important to try and be a good dad.
100%
is what's important to be a good dad.
Yep.
So I have my mastermind of how to be a successful businessman and a successful dad.
Yep.
You have to put those two things together.
And separate.
And then separate, but together. And then the last but not least, you got to try and be a successful husband. Okay. Because if you're not a successful husband, you can't be a successful dad. And then you're going to go to work and you're going to have an argument with someone too, because the life is a package. Now, they all screw up at different points of the day, of different times.
Happens.
But at business, I've got a couple of friends who run very successful businesses that I bounce ideas off and talk to. I've got some internal people who work for me as well that have turned into some of my best friends. The problem with using them is that at the end of the day, if I say, hey, this table's red, they look at it and go, is he in the mood for me to tell him it's black today, or am I just going to tell him it's red? So that's what you've got to be careful. That's what you've got to be careful about with using internal people as, you know, let's call it your mastermind.
Yeah, mastermind, group core. I get it. One of my best friends, also one of my insurance brokers. We started out as broker business relationship, built a friendship afterwards. I see no problems in. I know you probably talk to a lot of people and say, "Oh, you shouldn't have your friends and family work in the business." I disagree.
It's really hard.
I know it's easy,
but I've got my best friends, my family, my brother. I've fired my father recently, who's worked for me. Oh, yeah, we can get into that if you want.
Please.
No, well, we had some external issues, but then we also had some difficulties about the fact that, so he ran his own business.
Yep.
And it was a successful business.
Yep, it was successful, and he did,
But he probably turned over, let's say, 1/10 of what I did in a different time as well.
Yep.
with different constraints, and I'm
Yep.
not trying to downplay
No,
them either.
no.
But what the problems that I deal with in today's day and age
Mhm.
compared to the problems that he deals with, we may as well be on different planets.
Yeah, okay.
And so he also had the luxury of not having to deal with any of the difficulty of the decisions or the let's say advice he was giving me. So we'll say, "Hey Jimmy, I think Nick is great." He has to say, and I say, "Well, I think Nick is shit. I don't think I have anyone called Nick working for me at the moment, and if I do, it's not about an actual Nick. What it's about is
You want a job at Starbuck and your name is Nick, get
you're
in
not
touch.
yeah. I need someone to make this come true. So
How many CVs from Nick are you going to have by the end of today?
Yeah. So he'd be able to say, "Listen, I think you should keep Nick. Nick's a great employee. Nick's a great worker."
Yep.
But from the other perspective, Nick doesn't do his paperwork. Nick causes dramas in the office, dramas on the job site. My dad's driving around.
So you get more compliance issues. Yeah.
But yet I've got my dad rocking up the site, calling himself Mr. Starbuck, and then saying, "I think Nick's great." And everyone's looking and going, "Nick is an asshole." And that there was some difficulties there, and so we tried to remove that from him, and then it sort of didn't work, and so we just sort of drew the line in the sand. But in saying that, my first employee, who was my dad's best friend, still works for me now, coming up to a couple of decades. He started working for me in my early 20s.
What do you look for when you're looking for staff within the group?
What am I employing for?
Doesn't matter. I'm talking
Okay,
core
so-
values. I'm talking core values. What do you look for, regardless of position? What are you looking for? I mean, regardless of position, but let's say you needed someone.
I've done a lot of interviews.
Yep.
I've employed a lot of wrongs. I've employed a lot of
Mhm.
rights. And I've also employed a lot of people that I thought were right that ended up wrong and thought that wrong, no good. And then they ended up turning into absolute killers. And then there's the last one that right now you plug a round peg into a round hole, but that hole changes to square. And now you need the person to grow with it
Okay.
and do it. Maybe they were wrong at the start, but the role has grown to them.
Yep.
Or maybe they're right and the role has grown away from them.
Okay. What's easier to correct?
Oh, they're
Change-
both a nightmare.
I get it. So as your business growing, you've got people that synergize with your same core values, but now the roles either they've outgrown the role or the role is now kind of redundant because the business is growing in a way that we really want you in the business, but I now need you over there. And then how do you go about motivating or guiding or uplifting your workforce?
These are big questions. Okay.
I said this wasn't going to be
Yeah,
boring.
no, it's definitely not. Okay, the first off, the challenge is one of the main things that I look for is a trustworthy person
Yep.
who is intelligent.
Okay. What's your definition of intelligence?
Well, intelligence is you can sit down and have a conversation with someone.
Okay, street smart. Yeah,
It usually involves a certain element of EQ, so an emotional intelligence as well.
Yep.
To sit down in an office environment where you're not going to be swearing, screaming, bringing all of your problems or whatever it might be. Like there is a litany of things. If you can sit down and understand that, person number A on your side isn't having a good day, so lean over and support or not support or whatever it is. But emotional intelligence is very important. Intelligence overall is important.
Yep.
Because as that job role changes, you need to have them be smart enough to be able to move into a role if you want them to be there.
Okay. I love that. So you've got all that, person's come on board,
Mm-hmm.
job's changed, person's no longer suitable, has to go. How do you handle that?
What sort of person are they?
Whatever you want it to be.
And what sort of company are we running?
Whatever one you want to say.
I'm running my company, and that person there, we will find a spot for them in my company until I close it. How's that one? So that old man who works for me, his eyesight's gone, and he started out as a digger operator.
Yep.
Then he turned into a fitter. going around tinkering on the machines.
Yep.
He don't like driving as much no more because he's
No,
a bit
no.
old and tired.
Yep.
So now he sits in the yard. So that square hole, that round hole has changed for him throughout the years and throughout the, I don't even know how long, 16 years, 17-year
Yeah.
journey
Yeah.
that he's been with me, putting up with, you know, me and all of what I
You're
bring.
fine.
No, all of what I bring, because I can be intense is a good word, politically correct. Don't ever forget it. I can be intense, and he's put up with me. No, we've never had an argument, not one.
Good.
But he will, if I have to get a chair for him at a new yard that I have where he sits all day, then he can sit. He's put in his time for Starbuck, and Starbuck can put in some time for him.
So your core values around being a great father also extend to your company, and you have technically 2 families.
I not technically, I do.
Yep.
I do, and I've built them, and I try and support them, and look after them, and everyone in it. Whether you've been around for 2 weeks, you might get a little bit of leeway, but then after 2 years, you get a little bit more, and then if you're coming up to 20 years, the company will work with you. And he's still like, as far as, I've got a bit of a story for you.
I was going to ask you for a story. So let's
My
go.
mate's selling his company.
Okay. What sort of companies?
Okay,
No, but like, is it
he's in trades and construction.
Okay,
and
done.
he's selling his company. He's going to get about $50 million.
Fantastic.
Right, well done. Good on him. My age, he's one of my core people.
Yep.
And I love him. How do you tell the investment company that's coming on board, that's looking to 10x you over the next whatever amount of time? How do you tell them about Rob? And
you don't.
Rob's 20 years old. How do you make the bean counters understand that Rob is actually one of the keystones, that you can't actually say what he produces? Now, in saying that, Rob has copped it from me from not producing before, right?
But he deserved it.
He deserved it. When I went to the yard and there's rubbish all over it and he's in the yard, he absolutely cops a reaming. I'm not talking about being soft. I'm talking about being fair, being right, and being the person you want to be at home, at work, the one you want to look at in the mirror and say, do you know what? We're doing okay.
Common
today.
sense is not that fucking common.
Yeah. So how do you explain to the bean counters about Rob? And that's the difference between how I market my company, the service that we provide, and everything on the way through is the difference there. Now, it's unable to be spoken about. We can talk around the edges, but we wouldn't be able to crystallize. You're gonna my competition's a corporate.
Yeah, yes.
You're going to get a different sort of corporate sort of response from engaging them than engaging me. I had someone call me up at 8:00 last night, and I answered to run through a job.
Love it. It's when you're selling a company, and I've never done it. I had a recruitment company, went bust out of Perth. Everyone knows that story. But you've got to be so careful on who the fuck you sell the company to, because they need to understand the culture that built the business. I mean, look at Scott's Refrigerated Transport. That thing was a monster and then got completely fucked by selling it to the wrong company.
100%.
Completely fucked, right? Now, culture is so important. And without the right culture, your company's fucked.
Yep.
You may as well shut up shop.
But to value the company, they don't value the culture. In fact, they value things that are almost anti-culture.
Correct, because they're about the fucking margin. They're about
and more
they're about increasing that.
They're about policy and procedure, which you definitely need, and they're around isolation and creating silos of different areas with very little, no interaction, between them, so that A doesn't affect B, and the sales team does their thing and fills out their forms, and the finance team does their thing and fills out their forms. But if I don't have salesmen talking to finance and then calling the customer and saying, hey, what's going on? And they say, Jimbo, or to the sales team, I'm in a bit of shit. I got 2 weeks. 2 weeks, I can help you out. No. The big corporates don't want that. They want to send the letters, do the this, wind up, you name it. Now, don't get me wrong, I still wind up and I still send the letters. But is there the phone call part of their policy or procedure where it says, please just call them and have a serious, honest conversation?
Let's find out what the fuck's going on. Because where you bolt into the build is you're very, very instrumental in that, because if you don't get paid, the thing doesn't. Thing doesn't matter. Where I went wrong with my recruitment business out of Perth is I was supplying fit out contractors, which was the end of the construction build, which is.
Well, would you like to hear one of my favourite lines?
Yes.
When a builder don't pay me,
Yeah.
if you can't pay me, I'd fucking hate to be the landscaper.
Well, 100 fucking %.
I'd hate to be if you're complaining about my bill and I've only put the hole in the ground, I'd hate to be a painter. Just hate it.
This is what people don't understand about the whole build. Question I have: as you grew the business, more staff, more equipment, more cost, more debt.
Yeah.
How did you go about stepping back from certain parts of the business that you had to step back because you're building this corporate, fucking mammoth company, right?
Yeah.
150 staff now. Okay. What steps did you have to go through to go from an owner operator to the CEO, like personal, obviously?
I don't know if I am one yet.
Okay.
A CEO. I don't know if I have
think you
the
are.
necessary
Maybe
skills.
not the fucking job title, but you've definitely got the fucking energy.
No, I wanted to put down on my business card, big boss.
I used to have manager. Fucking Drew. I loved manager, and my company said I had to become managing director.
Well, that's what they did to me. Everyone got together and they said, "No, you're not allowed to be the big boss." And I said, "Yeah, but I am the big boss, but I'm not the big boss because sometimes the big boss is in the kitchen cooking the eggs. Sometimes he's got the vacuum cleaner when everyone is working their ass off. But there needs a little bit of.
I do in my office all the time.
I find it relaxing. Sometimes I'm out in a meeting for $10 million.
Yeah.
And I'll get it done. Call me when you need, but also call me if you need a vacuum, because that's what a big boss is.
So what you're saying is you've learned to come from an owner operator where you are now as the big boss by focusing on small things that people may overlook.
At some point,
vacuuming.
Well, at some points, yeah. So it's really challenging because there's so many different areas. You have to empower your people.
Yep.
You have to teach them. You have to scale your what you've learned to different levels. At a $10,000 job to $100,000 to $1 million to $10 million. There's different things that you have to do on that. I was explaining the first contracts that I used to get. I'd sign them on the bottom and send them back. The whole thing, including the scope and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Everything.
Yeah.
But I mainly work for people who are really good blokes.
Okay.
So I'd get paid. They wanted a fast hole to be dug cheap, and I could do that. I am one of the cheapest and fastest in Melbourne if you let me run.
Is that because you have the system to make it?
No,
cheap?
I control the trucks. I'm one of the very few people who trucks their own dirt.
Of course.
And so I can run at maximum and limit liability or risk that comes from running trucks. So everyone else, if you have 20 trucks out there and your operator's late or the machine or blah, 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 all of these risks, 20 is the max. They really only order 15 or 12. I'll order 23.
I have just realized that you've got a couple of BTE bodies in your yeah. So I've been working with BTE for years, but I remember Alan talking about you.
Yeah, so we have some BTE. We got everyone.
Yeah,
anyone. And anyone. So I'm currently looking at getting some bodies made for things in China.
Yeah,
because it's interesting the price difference and some of you can get Australian mill certificates for a few little bits and pieces. Whether or not we flat pack them, bring them in, weld them up, and if there's any sort of price difference there that the juice is worth the squeeze, I'll put up.
We could have a shop talk about that. I've done it. I've seen it.
And juice ain't worth the squeeze half the time.
Nope, because you got to cut all the welds out.
Yeah.
And then put them all back. And so we've been doing transport trailer equipment now. Nice 7 years. And I supply the boilermakers to it. And the issue is that from what I see, guys, just my opinion, you get a good batch because the people put it together have welded them correctly. But then what happens is those people, because they've got the welding skills, then get sent to somewhere else, and you get a whole stack of new people in that don't have the same skill set.
Is that business in general, though? I know that you can.
Good
So
question, sir.
I've had some bodies fall off.
Yeah, fuck that.
That's a bad day.
That's a fucking bad day.
It is a mediumly annoying afternoon.
Are you a bourbon or a Scotch drinker?
I am an everything drinker after bodies have fallen off. Let me tell you.
I will send you a bottle of bourbon. Just
Thank
as
you. Do you want me to put a bow around it and say when a body falls off? Because we've had a few now from that. So this is as you grow up.
As I say, the companies,
Then now we have a system for making sure that we scrutinise things on a regular basis so that we can try and limit our liability risk. And I have an absolutely incredible girl who works for me doing just safety and compliance, whose name is Natasha.
Shout out to Natasha.
She is a workhorse who gets it done. But I can remember having the conversation with her a long time ago because chain of responsibility is an incredibly interesting, dynamic law. That places a responsibility that that it gets greater the bigger that you are.
Yep.
So if you're a guy running his own truck parked in your driveway out the front of your house, you might not need all of the paperwork filled out and shit like that because you might be doing the servicing yourself.
Yep, that's fine.
And you probably loaded it yourself. But if you're Lynn Fox, there ain't no filling out paperwork. We're going to install dash cams not only out of the truck, but into the truck so that we're watching exactly what everyone does at all times because our responsibility is really high.
Correct.
When you're building, if your Lynn Fox is here and owner-operator with his truck in his driveway is here and you're rising up, those policies have to change. And they have to be dynamic, but they have to be dynamic at one step ahead of where you are. And you need and then I was the one who did that at the beginning. I'm making docket books, docket books. Let's put in a fit for work thing at the bottom because someone else does it. So we should probably do it. And then after that, we go, well, actually our fit for work, take 5 swims and, morning pre-start thing. It's actually not good enough for us. So let's make it better.
So what you're saying is one of the keys to your success has been self-reflection and looking at your own policies and procedures and tearing the ones up that are no longer working, but be honest with you that they're not working.
They all have to be torn up. So we have put it together a little bit about my dockets.
Okay. Tell me more.
Now, tell you more about the dockets. Right. So we're going to talk from zero to a $500,000 system.
Good, because your voice tone changed as soon as you brought these dockets up, so I wanted to hear more.
Okay. At the very beginning, there was none.
Of course.
And the truck driver who went to work for me, bang, bang. We called him that little Indonesian fella, 4'11", still works for me now.
Fantastic.
15 years ago. If I told him to go to Adelaide, he'd say, yes, sir, and drive to Adelaide. He'd ring me up at the end of the day and say, I did 5 loads in 8 hours. Can you pay me? So I would. After a while, we had 10 trucks on the road and they're all ringing me and I'm scribbling it down on the back of an envelope that I picked up from the post office. Yeah. And then I go home and I'll pay them. Then I'd chase the builders, make the invoice. Then when we needed some dockets because, well, fuck, I can't keep track of 20 trucks.
You've only got so many envelopes.
I only got so many envelopes. Post office is fucking running out.
Yeah.
Gone dry. So then we get dockets.
Okay.
Now, we're still running very different dockets now.
Well,
but we're at 350,000 and they're in quadruplicate is the amount of trucking days that I have sent out. 350,000
I'm with you.
From the inception of the dockets.
Yep.
Now you have to get them off of it because everyone knows we're digitizing things these days and dockets are no good. And so 350,000 and then you staple your tip slips to it, which there might be 5 in a day. Yep. And then you've got 4 of the 350,000. So now we're up to 10 million pieces of information.
All manual.
And it's all been manual, managed by its team in data who saves it. And I pay out the arse for my PDFs to be saved on some shit server cloud thing that I've got no idea about.
But fuck. Yeah. Jesus, that's a lot of data.
That is not even including all of my invoices, which were up the invoice tens of thousands.
So I guess a bottleneck for you in your business is how to automate some of this and
Yeah.
actually keep it reliable.
Yeah.
Oof.
And are you gonna trust your hundreds of thousands of dollars every single day on the trucking, on automating that? So we're gonna be a genius. We're gonna build our own system.
I think I was about to say that. I don't see any other way of doing it. It's like
Ah.
put the sensors on the truck,
Then
cameras.
they have to, well, we can do better because we have a whole invoicing data team, blah, 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 AR, AP, finance managers coming out our ass. We're getting it done. We're paying out millions. So what do? We make our own system, and it's a fucking nightmare.
Why?
Well, because systems are shit. No one actually told you that that software engineers, they sell you the dream and then deliver you a bundle of, well, shit.
So they sold you the sizzle and not the steak. The sizzle sounded good. The steaks turned out not
Well,
good.
yeah, they do get it done, and there's a
Are
bit of
you
a saga
frustrated
around
with
there.
the system?
I'm not a good IT technological man. It's something that
I think you could be okay.
no, I'm terrible. They frustrate me. Like, I can work on a motor and fix it.
Yeah.
I can rock up to a job site, no matter how big it is, and argue with the best of them the most efficient way to complete what we do.
Yep.
Up until concrete. I will be able to stand there with anyone and say, right, we've done, I don't know, a couple $100 million worth of work around Melbourne in this sort of space. I think you should do it this way, and I think I have the accreditation to say
You've got the track record.
yeah. IT,
Yeah.
it's been one of my, it's actually been one of the pinnacles that I place my success on, if you call it success.
Okay.
My
Why?
hatred of IT.
So what? You've employed the best companies to come in and sort it out?
No, and I've employed people to take care of it, and I don't believe in sending emails flat out. I want to come and talk to you,
Fuck
and
yeah.
I want to shake your hand and get the deal done, and then I'm going to leave. Because everyone's sitting there behind their computers, banging them out, and I'm going to come and I'm going to sit down and shake your hand and say, right, how are we getting this deal done? And you're going to go, hang on a second, I've got to check my phone. Oh, David's emailed me about the job. I'll just talk to you and I'll email back David. Now I'm in front. Now David is behind. The email's there and I am here. And that's only because emails frustrate the shit out of me. I hate the passwords that constantly have to change, and I have to make a spreadsheet for the passwords that aren't strong enough, and then the computer systems always seem to be fucking annoying. I'm going to rock up. I want to dig holes. I want to have a truck come, and then I want to do it as fast as possible and put out my hand for the money.
Okay. Who are, obviously you've been in the game a little while, and we're not talking particular clients. Who is your perfect client? I know it says pays you on time and stuff, but I think it's deeper than that because you to me, you seem to work very big off personal brand and relationship.
My perfect client is someone who has an appreciation of what we do,
Mm-hmm.
who has a sound perspective of the business that they're running,
Mm-hmm.
and then pays me. Now that's a all in that captures, so that means that he understands some pain points for us.
Mm-hmm.
He understands his pain points so that they can therefore tell me, and I can
Mhm.
help to try and find a solution.
All right.
And then last but not least, who doesn't want to be paid?
Oh,
Everyone.
I was a construction recruiter of 15 years,
Hmm.
and I still dabble in it a little bit, but I got out of it because I got sick of not getting paid. It's what sent my last company to the fucking wall.
Yeah.
It's very difficult when you've got a cash hungry business and you're not getting fucking paid.
Mm.
I find the pattern of behavior. It's the same clients that want to be your friends. It's all good. It's all matey. It's all send us an email, back it up, blah, blah, blah. But there was just something about the initial conversation I had with him. He was too keen for my business. He was too fucking, there was a credible reason why the last guy didn't do the fucking job.
Man. Yeah, and there is an acceptance in construction that there is a portion that will not be paid.
Correct.
And whether that portion is large or small, then there's still that acceptance from people that understand. There are companies in my game
Mhm.
who have gone broke 5, 6, 7 times and re-emerged, like what is that?
Phoenixing.
Phoenix from the ashes. That you know, they come back, and then every dickhead still goes and works for him again. Still goes and works for him again, and then the builders still give him the jobs. And it's like, you know, at what point are we going to sit down and, like, I don't know, almost be adults about it and say, right, well, you know, he's an asshole. He's an asshole all round. Everyone knows he's an asshole, and his product is no better that he delivers. Come on, guys, we're just not going to give him no more work, because all he does is go around and burn everyone. Then everyone goes to the builder or the developer and says, we want our money. You know, that guy didn't pay us. Which, let's be honest, the builder shuts up shop and closes doors and doesn't take meetings for a few weeks until everyone goes away. If a stubby goes broke, then opens it back up and says, we're reopened for business, but it doesn't pay a cent.
How much do you think that's down to people not backing themselves, not having self-worth, and not understanding the power of a personal brand? Because at the end of the day, if a builder fucks you over, you ain't going to work with them again. And the problem is, if you ain't going to work for them, a lot of other people ain't going to work for them.
Yeah, I do.
Or they will.
I do have a little bit of that, but not much. You know, at the end of the day, people are still hungry, still got to eat, which means that, you know, that someone, they have a hole to dig, they win the job, someone's digging that hole. Someone always is.
I get that. But you are very strong in the space that you operate. Okay. Yeah, you've got competitive. I've got. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that if a builder is prepared to work with you, knowing your reputation and how good a job you do, are you seeing it less or less that clients in the construction space are just paying you and not paying someone else? Or is it
it's been a challenging couple of years.
Oh,
that's
fuck
for
yeah,
sure.
man.
It's been super challenging. I've actually got a friend, and I'll call him a friend.
Good.
Who runs a big building company. So I know some of the challenges around, like windows. You'd never understand the difficulty with windows that some of these poor bastards have gone through, you know, with ordering windows for your building. Well, it's asinine. What's the word for it? Where it's just ridiculous that you can have $100 million project and the windows are gonna hold it up for 2 months. And no one sees that from the outside. No one sees those overheads, those holding costs and stuff like that.
Well,
You know, no one saw the what happened to the developers holding on. Everyone thinks that they're making millions and billions. Now, some of them are. Like, let's be honest, some of them are. There's some recruiters making millions and billions too. That doesn't mean you can't go broke.
Oh no,
or it doesn't mean that I've made heaps of money when other basement companies or trucking companies are turning over plenty.
But it's about you. See, I mean, I learned a lot when my first company went bust. What 35, 45 now. I
had
at one
to think
point
about that then.
Yeah. Fuck man, I only recently turned 45. I had a lot of I owed 1.2 million. A lot of that, I don't even know where the money had gone to. Owe $1.2 million at the time, right? And I've over that time became a better director, put my own understandings in place, understood what I bring to the market, what I don't bring to the market, and what I don't bring, I bring in people that can do that. My CFO is my ex-accountant. She understands how I work. I understand how she works. So she brings what thing. It seems to be your success has also been successful, as in you recruit the right person to the job, whether you get it right the first time or not. And then once they've got your trust, you step the fuck away.
Yeah. No, you can't micromanage people.
No.
You can help manage a process.
Yep.
And you can be involved into a minute scale, but you have to be involved underneath. Now, you'll like this one. This was my very first podcast I did, which took me from about 10,000 Instagram or 15,000 Instagram followers to about 30.
Fucking game on.
It was on, a guy I know's podcast really well. And he asked me what the 3 most important rules are in business. Now, some might say, do a good job, be a good person, empower your employees, all of these. Would you like to know the most important rule?
Yes.
Get the money, get the money, get the money. Because at the end of the day, you've done a shit job and gotten paid, but you've done a great job and the guy screwed you over.
That second one is what I did.
You've employed terrible people and they've had great outcomes, and you have employed your best friend who has ended up hurting you a lot, which happened to me a couple of times, employing my best mate, or employing my dad, And so you can have all of these things that have swings and roundabouts, and the swings and roundabouts have to be there, but they only matter if you've got money in your bank and your bills are paid. That's it. Because otherwise, none of that shit fucking matters. No one, no one went about your company, and I'm sorry if I'm talking out of line.
No, fuck
but
no,
then
mate.
No one said, fuck, he was a good guy if you owed him money.
No, I paid everyone.
So that's good there. But they didn't say anything other than, we're going to have to go to the next recruiter. He's gone broke.
That's basically, this is the thing, mate. I totally agree with you. Get the fucking money, because at the end of the day, that's what the business there, and the business is not profitable.
But it's blood. It's the blood in the body of a business is the money. After that, we can work on everything else. Take the body to the gym, take it swimming, give it a back rub, get a nice haircut. But the blood that makes you be able to move, that gets you out of bed every single morning, makes you be able to breathe, is money. And I don't think enough people talk about it, because we're all so caught up talking about, all of the other shit that we're meant to be responsible for. Please make sure, Jimmy, that you have a good work-life balance, because you're burning yourself out.
Okay. We have to talk about that. We have to talk about that.
Which one?
Life balance.
Yeah.
Because I totally agree with you. I think if you're involved in the business, you're involved in it, and there's no other way to be.
Well, there's a level of involvement. We can talk about that, but there is no one size fits all work-life balance that is acceptable for different people. We all run at different outputs. I've got a very long-term employee who on the weekends likes to disengage and play video games.
Okay.
Perfect. That's good. Done. People who like to go out to the pub and get hammered on a Friday night, play the pokies. Probably not the best health choices. However, if that's their thing, that's their thing. Make sure you take a taxi and don't drive. Okay? But my thing is being a good dad at work. My holidays are usually based around work, or traveling with people I've met from work, or my friends work for me or with me, or I work for them. They own different companies like everyone I've spoken about. I've said, my friend owns a building company. Well, he is my mate, but I haven't got many that don't own a company and that I don't work with.
It's about your mastermind. Like your friend circle is your net worth, right?
Oh, yeah, I like that one.
And if all my friends are owners of business, because it's just nothing against non-people that don't own business. I have dear friends that don't own a business. My best friend is one of Australia's leading litigation lawyers. She works for legal practice. But when you're dealing with the issues that come running and owning a business brings, if you don't have that network of support around you, it's a lonely game.
But it's also a real challenging game to not sounding like a dick. But I might have to sound like a dick for a second.
So sound like a fucking dick.
Oh, don't worry. I've been sounding like one this whole time. So
no, you're fine, man. If I thought you were being a dick, I would say,
yeah, then you might get called a dick yourself.
That's okay.
So
I've been called worse. I sell people. I'm a recruiter, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Haven't I gone hard at a recruiter or two?
This is fucking easy, man.
This is the only time I could get you at 8 p.m. at night, Jimmy. I know I've been blowing up your phone all day, but now I'm going to call. But part of the challenge is that, okay, so my registration bill, let's put it this way.
The regos on the trucks,
Regos on trucks and machines is probably fair way into six figures.
I was about to say, it's fucking up there.
Well, we got 30-something cars.
Why? Well, side vehicles,
Side vehicles, fucking this person gets a car. I don't know, everyone have a car. But you pay hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you're going to sit down and you're going to say, right, please, sit down, have a meet with your friend. And they go, fucking rego's due. And you go, yeah, I know. And they go, fucking Reggio's gone up, and you go, I know.
No.
And then you can't say that your Reggio's gone up too. And they know, and I know, and, but I'm not looking to downgrade their problems or upgrade mine. I'm not looking to say we're just different.
Talking. Just
We're
different.
just different. And that's okay because, like I'm not necessarily making a whole heap of money, but I've got a whole heap of bills. But there's some connection that people have with money that makes it sound like I'm up here and they're down there. If I say, well, yeah, my Rego bill went from $250,000 to $320,000 last year, and they go, no, I was talking about my car going from $800 to $900, and you go, same.
I reckon you and I have similar fucking with big workers' comp bill. We might need a therapy session after this. I think we're both about to have PTSD.
My big one at the moment is that your whole life, or well, at least mine, I grew up with a family that told me that successful people own land.
Okay.
You go out there, and once you've made some money, you own some land.
Yeah.
Whether it be a farm, some factories, some land in something, right?
And that's what you do. So when you had a good year in the company, you go buy some land.
Until land tax comes out. Now I've done all right. I've bought some land, and then my land tax bill has made my eye twitch because I'm not buying no, small little residential block. Like if we're going to be successful in trucking, we send out all the trucks that we can. We're going to be successful in digging. Let's dig the biggest fucking holes. And if we're going to buy some land, let's buy some big blocks.
Fuck.
And then add land tax at the same time on the ramp up. The land tax, I want you to take those interest payments, and I want you to have them over here, and then raise the interest rates to here. And that's the challenge of you're sitting down talking to people and they're like, those interest rates, like my home loan's gone from this to that. To give you an example of one of my properties, when I purchased it, it was $30,000 a month, and it went to $95,000 on one property. Yeah, that pains a little bit. That gives you a little bit of a nip, Just get a slightly terrible afternoon when you get that rise, because successful people own property. Now, we're all good. Like, I'm not complaining and everything.
You know
like
what?
That, I'm not trying to say that, but I am trying to say, fuck, it's hard to do business sometimes, and that not many, but like everyone says, business owners, you're killing it. Whoa. Now, I'm not eating rice and beans. No. I might still be able to afford a steak, but fuck, I've got some stresses too. But you can't complain about the stresses.
No private jet for you, son.
No, not this week. Not this week. I haven't even got a Ferrari yet. So maybe
I was going to ask you what your personal car is, because I think you should come on a car rally with me.
I got a nice Merc.
That'll do.
I got a 400 and something kilowatt VL.
Bring the VL.
And I got she's not really good around corners.
That's okay. What do you got
straight line?
What do you
450 kilowatt. Yeah, but it's a 1-ton car with a 3-speed in it.
Bring the Merc.
Bring the Merc.
Bring the boy.
It's got 400 and something kilowatts. That's a bit fast. But then I drive a Land Cruiser at work every day. Nah.
Bring the Merc.
I'm more of a motorbike man anyway.
I'm too tall for motorbikes.
You are a bit tall. You'd look like a monkey on top of a grapefruit.
Correct.
Yeah, no good.
No good.
A lot of all arms and legs.
Yeah. No, it's. I've been this big since I was 16. Okay. Next question I have for you, because I'm thoroughly enjoying this conversation.
Oh, okay. That's good to hear.
What's your philosophy with your management team? We've talked about employees. We've talked about business and cash. What's your philosophy when it comes to your management?
My number one manager is probably my best friend, who's also my wife's best friend.
Was he your best friend before he worked for you?
No, she's a girl. She's my wife's best friend. That's how she came on board. She came on board as a docket girl.
Yep.
On a gap year from uni after she completed a science degree. Came on board 8 years ago.
Science would be handy.
Yeah, it is. She's an incredibly intelligent person. She's my number one manager, and I'll keep it politically correct.
No, fuck
there
that.
are
No.
times when I could have killed her, metaphorically, of course.
Yeah, it's fine.
But she started from docket girl, allocations, head of allocations,
Yeah,
chief
yeah.
operations officer,
Mhm.
call it operations manager,
Yeah.
to the person who gets all of that back end done. So I'll go and I'll take all of the limelight, and I'll go and you can tell I can convert a job. I
Mhm.
can convert a job.
And that's what you love to do.
Yeah, because it's the deal. It's not the money anymore. I don't give a fuck about no money. I want the deal. I want to be able to provide you value while making a lot of money. Like, isn't that great? And the best deals are when you're happy as Larry and you walk away and you say, that Jimmy, when I gave him this job, best decision I made. He wins all of my jobs from now on because I don't rip people off, try not to. Yeah,
I don't think you
yeah.
could. I don't think you morally could rip anyone.
But
It wouldn't sit well with you.
I don't ever want to make a lot of money. I just want my piece of the money.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But then I'm after the deal to win, and then actually to prove that, right, to be able to prove what I said in the meeting when I went, yep, no problem.
So that's the philosophy. Like now, the reason why your best manager probably you wanted to kill her a couple of times is she probably knows how to push your buttons in a particular way that makes sense and it pisses you off
Anyone
because
who knows her knows that is absolutely the case. Yep.
so you're going fuck. You're right. I don't want you to be fucking right, but
Sometimes, yeah, but sometimes she's wrong too. But don't get me wrong, I have been more wrong in business than I have been right.
yeah, but
I've
that's the
been
way it always
lucky.
is.
Yeah, I've been very lucky, and I've been surrounded by good people who have always told me. And I'm not, although I sweat arrogance, I
You don't
don't.
sweat arrogance.
There's a little bit coming from underneath my armpits now, just a small amount.
It's only because I've pushed you in a certain way.
But
You're not arrogant at all. Anyone who says you're arrogant doesn't understand the definition of arrogance.
Probably, I hope so. I try not to be, but I listen to people enough to realise when I'm wrong, and when I am wrong, I make sure I say it. So if I'm incorrect, I will ring you up and I'll say I'm sorry, I was wrong.
So, what has been the biggest lesson you've learnt from a fuck up? Doesn't have to be your biggest fuck up, but what is the biggest lesson you've gone, aha, never going to fucking do that again?
I've had a couple. I stepped away from running jobs. Um, I had a big truck accident. I fell asleep at the wheel because I was working too hard. So that stopped me trucking.
I was going to say, yeah, you don't truck anymore.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't truck no more. Yeah,
Okay.
that's because I used to burn the candle at both ends a lot, just in terms of I wouldn't drive the trucks for a lot, but I'd think that it was okay to go on site and then have meetings all day, and then maybe jump in a truck in the evening because I found that to be enjoyable.
Yep.
Uh,
You're out one of your outlets, yeah.
yeah,
I
but
get that.
snipping gears is a good time when there's no traffic. When there's no traffic and there's no one waiting for you, because that places pressure as well. So I just go out, maybe do a float fee or two,
Yep.
maybe move a pile of dirt or something.
Make a bit of side cash. Beer's expensive.
Yeah, I would call it milk and bread money, just a little,
Yeah,
just a little tiny bit.
yeah.
And then I fell asleep at the wheel and ran into a pole and caused a bit of accident, a bit of
Fucking
problem.
lucky, brother.
I
didn't know that about you, actually.
Yeah, I've had a couple of decent either accidents or problems, with myself and business that have been like,
Yeah.
because I think sometimes you're on as a, I don't want to say leader, but we'll call it a leader. As a leader, you're on a downward slide of things that you actually impact daily that need your impact. So you're more float around, when people need you.
I understand that. I mean, I can talk about this, but I was in a quite a full on personal, intimate relationship a couple of years ago. Took my eye off the ball with the company. Same sort of thing, mate. Like, fucking company went down. Fuck shit. What's going on here? Because I believe as business owners, you kind of need to understand where your harmony is, where your
Yeah.
outlet is, like because it's like a plate on a spear. It's like something is you gotta
You got to keep that balance.
you got to
up
keep that
top.
balance. If your personal life's going well and you're not focusing enough on business, or your business life is going well and your personal life is in the shit, it's no way to live a balanced life.
Yeah, correct.
Question I have for you: how are we going to attract more truck drivers and civil operators to the industry? Because
I got an answer. Pay them.
is that it?
Pay them. We discussed before that you can become a software engineer and get a yoga room
Yeah.
right? And get your groceries delivered and walk into your $400,000 meditation room at
We did.
PwC, is what you said.
Yes. You go and have it. Check it out. It's a beautiful room.
Absolutely. And then what? We're
Have a
going to
nap.
get a truck driver to sit here on the ring road, where he's got to fill out his logbook and fucking be caned by, the possible police, the allocations, the job site, the tip site. And then you're going to sit down and say, I want to pay you $22 an hour. And he can sit punching on a keyboard, meditation room at the ready for possibly what they think is hundreds of thousands per year. We have very high labour costs, but labour costs aren't the reason why the housing market is
No, fuck no. I would agree with that.
Yeah, on a slide down. That's possibly.
Well, you brought it up. It was land tax.
Yeah, there's land. There's all of the taxes.
All my business mates at the moment are dumping their housing portfolios.
Yeah,
quicker than they can blink.
So land tax is the challenge, but then along with that, you've got the fact that the providers of housing, whether it be the permits, whether it be the water, whether it be anything, the paperwork, the providers, they are incentivized to make it slower. They're not
Explain that more. That's an interesting concept. Why are they incentivized to make it slower?
Okay, we just said that there are less developments going on at the moment.
Correct.
Yes?
100%.
Okay, take a provider. Have they dumped an equivalent amount of their staff to the percentage decrease of what the market has? The answer is no, they haven't. Why? Because they're making more work for the developments that are still going. Because used to send, let's call it 3 emails per water connection, which, don't get me wrong, not going at the water authorities, but
please not.
Them as an example.
We love the water authority here.
Correct.
We love all government authorities.
If we have 3 emails per water connection, I reckon if you went and looked at it now, you've got 20 emails per water connection. And those people have justified their jobs by going around in a circle because they justify their jobs by making more policies that make more, hoops to jump through that go around. It took me 2 years and $250,000 to connect electricity to a block of land that I still have to pay for the electricity.
What? Hang on. So why it wasn't connected?
Well, they didn't run the grid down there. It's not in the middle of bumfuck nowhere either. Like, I'm not buying land out in the middle of nowhere. So we have a block of land that just the grid did not get bought down that far.
So if you've then bought the grid down that far, do you own that part of the grid or can...
No, absolutely
not. So other people can now log onto the grid?
Yes. In fact, I have to give them the land to put the grid connection. You have to be transform bullshit, blah, 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 blah. I have to give them my land for them to use that so that they can then
very nice. The grid. You're very generous.
Yeah, but I want to make some money too, just a little bit of milk and bread.
Yeah.
But the thing here, what I'm trying to say is that 2 years, $250,000 to connect power that when I use the power, when I flick that switch, I still have to pay for it. Now, I'm the smallest little fish in a sea of sharks. How much are these developers eating? Lots. More than we could ever imagine.
I have, mate, go down and have a look at Lambo and Ferrari at the moment, mate. They make a lot of money. A lot of fucking money. And it's fucking insane how much.
And so because they're willing to do all of that, and because the providers, wherever they may be, the councils, the everything, every hoop that you have to jump through, to whether it's to build a road, connect electricity, whether it's the taxes that you have to pay, they become more cumbersome and heavier on the business owner.
So what you're telling me, and what I fully agree with, is government is creating these roadblocks that don't actually need to fucking be there. And in order for us to alleviate the housing crisis that we see at the moment, is we need to remove red tape, get land developed quicker, get more.
Well, if there was people that actually wanted to fix the housing crisis, they would. They want to talk about fixing the housing crisis. How many houses did that Department of New Housing or whatever that was created 2 years ago deliver? The answer is none.
No,
not one house.
I remember the note. I remember the fucking news thing. The whole fucking.
They've closed it down, I believe, or about to close, or it's under the spotlight and it's going to be closed. However, they have not built a house, but they like to talk about building houses. If you want to build houses, get the developers in there and say, hey, guys, you're going to make $1 billion. You got to separate it, but if you do not build 80,000 houses, you do not get your chance to get some of that slice of $1 billion. And they'll go, hold right there, I'll be back. You watch those houses be built. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to fix the houses. They don't want to build houses. They want to talk about fixing the houses and make it a bigger problem. Like I said, get the 20 biggest developers into a room and say, right, we're going to put all of what we're going to allocate towards our committees, our, bringing all of that shit in. We're going to just give that to you guys, but we're going to put some quotas that you have to reach. And
seems logical, but common sense is not that common.
Didn't they say 80,000 houses or 600,000? Whatever the number is.
Yeah, I remember.
Right. We need to deliver them in our terms. So you've got 3 years. We're going to divide it by 3. And then you can take how many you want, but if you don't deliver them, you don't get any money. And they go, no problem. We understand the assignment. Those houses will be built. We'll come back for our money.
So yeah, I agree with you.
Right now, it's the opposite.
Well, it is the fucking opposite, and this is why we have the housing crisis that we have, is because the supply is just not there. But the supply is not being built.
But you do understand that the supply, with all of the initiatives that they have, which I'm not caning on about the initiatives either. I think that they're good. However, I think that sometimes the way that we do things here is so convoluted that what we need to streamline this process. And I'm talking streamline it, provide some of these people with their own site.
People don't like change.
Well, who doesn't like it? Because I reckon the developers who are building it, and I reckon the homeowner who's going to be able to afford something, they're going to like it. The people who are stopping it at the moment are the ones that don't want the change because they're quite happy with how the ball rolls. But, then
people want to justify jobs, that's why.
People want to justify their jobs. But you can justify your job. Just get out of my way. Give me power. I don't even care if it costs $250,000, but give me power in a reasonable time frame.
But that is reasonable to them.
2 years.
That's reasonable to them.
2 years while I'm paying payroll tax out the arse land tax. Well, forget the payroll tax because that was bought in for something else. But I'm paying land tax to own the land while it takes me 2 years to get power for it from a quasi private company that isn't private, that is private.
But it's how it works. Okay, I fucking totally agree with you. I have another question for you.
Oh, dear.
It's okay.
We're here.
We're here.
We're here to play.
You got 150 staff. You're here.
So it's 150 people that work for Starbuck every day. So we're actually going for 200 staff, subcontractors.
Okay,
You never want to talk shit. I'm straight.
No one is ever 150, 200 something. Okay, you're a busy man. You don't know every staff member there by name. If you do,
definitely not. No.
If you do, I'm fucking impressed.
I don't.
What's next for the group?
I've got a few big irons in the fire that's going to pivot it a little bit.
We're not talking, but
diversification.
But do you see your role in the company changing? What do you see becoming?
My role definitely changes. I'm actually trying to slide a few pieces in at the moment. I've got some new business ventures that are being tacked on to help with some vertical integration for the people who like business words.
Okay. People watch this like business words. I hope so.
Yeah. That owns more of the supply chain. A number of my competitors own a greater amount of the dirt circle and the life cycle of dirt from the job site to where it goes, what it does, and we're trying to do a little bit of that.
Smart.
You hope so. Otherwise, well, if not, I've spent a lot of money to be a dickhead. So, and that should be a clip. I've spent a lot of money to be a dickhead. That's crystal.
Done. I will make sure that trust me, I will get that.
That should almost be the catchphrase.
That'll be the thumbnail.
I'm figuring out how to change thumbnails on it because some of the thumbnails I'm getting to the videos I've got make me look like a challenged. Challenged is the word.
You know what? We haven't really spoken about your social rate. your Instagram is insane, okay? And it's special. It's impressive considering it's all organic, taking photos. Have you ever won a job because of your Instagram
Yeah, I
profile?
won $2 million in 1 year from it.
Okay, how did that come up? They said, "Oh, we came across you."
So that's 2 million on multiple jobs. Like I win jobs all the time. I win employees, I win subcontractors. Like it's more common than you think.
Oh, no,
However, all low hanging fruit.
yeah.
So the high hanging fruit I found is more on LinkedIn.
There's my fucking social media drug of choice.
So you get more. It's not low quality, but low revenue work. We call it low revenue work. I get more people to hold on to shovels.
Yep.
And more backyard pools from Instagram. But if I'm wanting to get onto a major infrastructure project and hire a GM, you need to be on LinkedIn.
100%.
And then the last but not least is Facebook. I also own the two biggest groups on in earth moving and trucking in Victoria, possibly Australia, on Facebook. So I own both of those groups too.
Tell me with the three indicators. So you got Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Yeah. And I think we're going to make it TikToks, even though I'm not
I've started TikTok. It's not bad.
Not bad. I'm going to have nothing to do with TikTok apart from my face because I can't. I don't have enough time in my life to.
You got this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all about it though.
Isn't it weird when we started businesses, we had no idea about them?
No.
Now you and I, you and I met on LinkedIn really and had a chat, but it's
you tried to pick me up on LinkedIn. That's
I did.
Exactly
I actually slid into your DMs.
You slid into the DMs.
I slid into your
Hey,
DMs and I went, yeah, let's fucking do this. Like,
and now look at us, we're here.
We're having a great time. I love, I do like the podcast for me is a great way to business develop because I'm not from Melbourne. I've been here just under 10 years. I'm originally South Australian, lived out in WA for a long time, came to Melbourne 10 years ago with $5,000 to my name and started TRS as a sole trader. So that was really synergized with that whole thing. And funny enough, when I started TRS, I always had my job title as manager, very similar to father and son co. That's fucking brilliant marketing. I ran TRS out of my 1-bedroom apartment in Carlton for 3 years. Used to meet all my candidates down at Campo's Coffee there in Elgin Street before.
I had my office in my house, and it wasn't until I came home one rain day. I'd been up half the night.
Yep.
It was flogging rain. I got home at 10 o'clock, and I'm like, I know what I'm up for now. A delicious nap.
Yep.
It's gonna be one of those naps. You can feel it in your bones.
Yeah.
And I walk in, and every asshole that worked for me is in my house. They're in my fridge. I got 5 girls sitting in my front room on a kitchen table, smashing at laptops. All of the boys are sitting down. This one's got a beer because he's knocked off early and came to my house. This one's ordering
and you've gone
to cook a barbecue at the out my back. And he's like, hey, Jimmy, I've got some sausages that we're going to get. You want something?
How very fast and furious of you, mate.
It was just like that. It was just like that. But instead of them sitting around and having a barbecue, they're all sitting. The girls are smashing the laptops like this, sending the invoices. And I thought, fuck this.
We've got to fucking change.
1 month later, I had an office where everyone was, so I could go home. That was the point. And I'm telling you, my whole house was about work. The office, everything.
Same with my other company. I had run out of my house for 3 years. But
you're going to ask about social media.
I was going to ask about social media and how important it is to your business.
I don't think I would be where I am today without it.
Okay.
And I think that the difference from me to be able to elevate to the point that I am, which I've obviously been able to, from and being a guy with a 2-ton excavator to probably someone who can move, the most amount of dirt in Melbourne in my field.
Listen, anyone asks me that, you're the man. And I'm going to do a post on it.
Thank you. And I wouldn't be that if I didn't invest in social media. And that's a standalone, all-encompassing statement.
Well, I don't know anyone else in your space doing anywhere near what you're doing. Your reach is insane.
No, I don't. In terms of social media and what we do, like I'm definitely one of the, I don't know, there's stats on it that some people who want to work with me are given, but, I'm top something in the world for a private company in the earth moving space. And then that's once you add everything in together, because I've got a few on LinkedIn now, but I only started LinkedIn a year ago.
Yeah, you're doing
months
what?
ago.
Yeah, I think I've looked at 20.
No, come down. 12,000 almost. Just, I worked hard for those 3,000, 11,900 and something. So maybe after your podcast, I'll get to 12.
I don't know. What have I got on LinkedIn? I've got 23,000.
Mm.
Well, I reckon
Have you found it helpful?
Yeah, fuck yeah. I mean, I built my whole company off LinkedIn. We can have a private off the record chat about automation, where I believe that's game changing, because that works 24/7, 365 days a year.
Very much. Now, do you hate the people who use that to email you all the time? Hey, James, just checking in. Was wondering if you need help attaining your, I don't know.
Now, so here's the problem with LinkedIn, right? And people, this is a LinkedIn thing. Don't fucking send Jimmy a connect after this, sending him a connection request, right? And then immediately smack him over the fucking head with whatever you're trying to sell. Don't do it. Just don't fucking do it. Build the rapport. Do your blogs, do your videos, do your personal fucking brand, demonstrate to the market what the fuck you do, and then maybe tap it in with a sale.
I had a good guy, I know of his company, DM me last night. He's like, hey, Jimbo, I'm wondering if I could get some of your work. I said, no. And he said, oh, we're really good at what we do. And I said, yeah, so are the guys that I use, for one. And two, would I be the guy you want to work with if I was willing to absolutely dick them because you sent me a DM at 8 o'clock at night? Like, sorry, his name's Jack.
Jack!
The guy who does the role that they're after, because I don't want to talk too specific, but Jack does that for me. Jack has bent over backwards for me. Jack has missed out on birthdays and dinners for Starbuck and to help out the team. Now, I don't deal with Jack that much. He does it to help out the people.
But that's what he does.
That's what he does. That's Jack. And imagine, after years of me dealing with Jack, all you have to do for me to screw over Jack is send me a DM. Hey, can I have your work? And I say, yeah, fuck Jack. Yeah, new guy, you're in.
So this is what happens. And this is why price is so fucking important. If you're doing business because you're the lowest fucking price, you're fucked, because as soon as someone DMs or slides in the DMs of your client,
you're gone.
You're gone, because someone else is going to do it, and it's a fucking race to the bottom, right?
I don't even know Jack's price. I don't know what he does. I don't want to know what Jack.
I don't even know what James's price is.
However, do you know what Jack does? Jack, we had something that fell in Jack's wheelhouse personally for me.
Yeah.
And so I went there and I said, can you fix this by Thursday? And Jack said, sure. It's for you, yeah? And I said, yeah, it's me. It's not for Starbuck. It's not anything else. He was like, because I'm slammed at the minute.
Yeah.
And I can't get to it. I said, thank you. And I left. And then I went back on Thursday. And then what he needed to do was all done. Am I going somewhere else because someone texted me and said, hey, I can do you my product is great. Yeah. No, Jack's my guy. I like Jack. And that's really nice. And so this whole DMing thing, I've had 3 people come and see me off of LinkedIn.
Nice.
I've probably had 10,000 DMs. Some days I get 30.
Oh, you're nuts, man. You getting your likes on your posts are fucking insane.
Yeah. So I have, what did I reach last year? I think I had a time where I reached 5 million impressions, and I get hundreds of likes per thing. And I've gone from pretty much 0 followers to 12,000 in like 14 months.
You'll probably, I reckon, I'll make a prediction, in the next 2 years, you're going to go to 250,000 followers.
We'll see how we go. However, but
the boys are sitting there going, fuck, we've got a lot of work ahead of us.
Jesus
Christ.
I don't know if his forehead has enough wrinkles yet. We better start getting them out if he's going quarter of a million.
Speaking of wrinkles, right? I'll give you, guess what the number, and I don't even know how I know this statistic. Victoria, what is the fastest growing demographic for Botox usage?
It's probably me.
Male tradies.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you can see, I'm a prime candidate. I'm going to come back and I'm going to be like this.
There'll be a percentage of your workforce Botox.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah. 100%, but they're usually the percentage that are, I won't.
No. Wait.
I was like saying,
Hang on. Wait a second.
I caught myself there
Sorry.
real good.
Your HR's on the phone to me.
Yeah, the percentage that usually, no, I'm not going there.
Yeah, fuck, no. We don't want to go.
It'll be really interesting, LinkedIn, because I think that there's one huge problem with it. No one in construction does it.
Correct.
So you have real estate fucking gurus coming out your ass. You have Bitcoin fucking crypto people. You have a lot of thought leaders around business, but it's not like listening to a guy who, I don't know, let's say sells soap.
You know a bit about soap.
I know a little bit, but soap has absolutely nothing to do with construction. And neither does real estate. Now, business is business. But if you want to talk about some specific pinch points, you have to have construction knowledge, but no one sitting there doing it.
So here's where I think us as an industry is going. You're going to have a personal brand, right? And then you're going to have the company. And in order to have a successful company, you have to have a successful personal brand. Because in the next few years, with automation and AI and all the other shit, we can have another podcast on that. Unless you have a personal brand, a lot of company stuff is going to turn into transactional stuff. Okay. So
yes,
it's all well and good to say this and that, and we don't need to do a personal brand, because it's a bit like when fax machines were all fucking rage.
Ooh, love myself a fax. Love
industrial plain paper fax machine.
Oh, talking dirty.
It's like print. You come in, and that whole. Hey, fuck yeah!
Wait, what do you do right there? Like,
as in the papers just coming out. Man, when I started out in recruitment, it used to be 2 fucking industrial fax machines in the thing, right? With all time sheets, and you come in on a Monday morning and the fucking thing's out of paper. So, boss Fernando Ortiz, if he's watching this, I used to be one of his lieutenants, and he used to say to me, Tav, whatever you fucking do when you come in Monday morning, you got to put fucking paper in the fucking plain paper. Anyway, they're just coming off like that, but I do a lot of typing, but it's I do have an interesting little question for you. I did a little bit of research on him, and you said when you work on your own jobs, right? Occasionally you'll jump in an excavator, but it's got to be the right job. It's got to be the right stuff you're digging. Yeah. Right? You got to have your fucking radio off. Yeah. Left alone. Yeah. But what are you listening to on your AirPods?
Or I like all different sorts of music. I can listen to Linda Ronstadt or Frank Sinatra serenading me. Yes. But I can also listen to Avril Lavigne singing Skater Boy. Or I can listen to heavy metal, dark shit, all the way from Pearl Jam, the probably bands you've never even heard of. But I used to be a killer digger operator.
You still are. You're the best in the company, mate. You're number one.
No, no more. No more? No way, no. I've got some absolute guns. I've got some killers in diggers now. But I used to be really good in our thing, which was put trucks on the road. So you just give me a pile of dirt, and I'm talking... We've loaded out mountains. Yeah. You give me a pile of dirt and I will sit there and I will all day. I won't even take my hands off the sticks for all day. And I will leave happy. It gives me a sense of fulfillment to just
You did some work today. Yeah. You went back to the root to the company. Yeah. So if you've ever had a shit day and you look through the projects and you find the perfect project, you're doing a site visit. Correct. Yeah. You out of the vehicle. Yeah.
And so then I used to run around a lot doing that, but it's you can't price that way anymore.
No.
Because let's say, I don't know, I can do 3 units. The actual the pricing structure that we need to do, 2 units. If I rock up on site and I kick out the guy or I tell him what to do, then I can undermine the foreman. If he's set a list of tasks and I just rock up and flip them on their head. Now, don't get me wrong, might need to be flipped. However, if I do that consistently and constantly to that guy, he's going to somewhere else.
Yeah.
Then you rock up, and if you're not getting in the machine in the right way, then the operator is going to be upset because, hang on, he set that up in a specific way. Jimmy's moved my seat. That's my machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now, just don't.
I get it. I've got forklift drivers who only drive Toyota.
No, sure. Yeah, we ran into the problem with these new Chinese.
I was about to talk about the Chinese stuff because obviously everyone's used to their names.
Yeah.
And then we start seeing the Chinese gear, which by the sounds of it, you rate.
Absolutely. Well, no, I rate the equation and the outcome.
Right. So for the price of that machine point,
yes,
it's a good unit.
For the price,
yeah,
the output, the performance of it, spare parts, maintenance, put the whole thing into a bundle, and I don't have the number that it's meant to pop out at the end, but if you put that into a bundle, what is your outcome? Because that's the actual life cycle of a machine.
Yep.
They stack up better than any other brand.
How long do they last?
Don't know.
We haven't got that for you.
Nah. But I can tell you what, if they last much longer, I can put the things in the bin and still come out better off than buying another brand. In the bin. Like, that is not getting $1 resale for it, not one. And they're banging on about the resale, about, how long their machines last. But hang on, these machines are a hammer. They're a hammer for a nail. Now, no one goes out and buys a Mercedes of hammers. And even if you do, you've got to justify the expense.
But you've all got the same running costs.
Well, to a point, because interest rates are high. If you're borrowing $5 instead of borrowing $2, then you've got your principal plus your interest minus running costs minus
your fuel.
Well, that's in the running cost, but then minus at the end of it your resale. But with the interest and it being a little bit higher at the moment, that gap is actually getting wider. So that $500,000 machine, that's what you purchased it for. Interest on that $500,000 has pumped you now up to $600,000. Interest on the $200,000 machine at the same ratio has only bumped you up to $230,000, $20,000. So now you've got $600,000 to $230,000 overall cost. When you resell it, what do you get? When you resell the Chinese, what do you get? Now, don't get me wrong, they might be an absolute hunk.
Yeah, but they're scrap, whatever. Who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah, because
who cares?
What do you think about automation within, I'm talking about automated fleets within civils for basic stuff?
It's got to be really challenging to get it, but
the technology is not there.
It's close, but it's not. You're right, it's not there yet. But civil is one of the last applications that's going to get it because of the ever-changing dynamic on a job site.
Correct, and the safety, but also the issue I see is attracting new people to the industry,
or automating it.
Because I actually think it's going to. I see it in every area coming in where automation with working alongside traditional work methods.
Yes.
I don't see us having a Skynet moment, where
Arnie isn't going to come in here.
Arnie's not going to come in here, but if he does, we set it first.
Okay, good. I think that there are certain job roles and tasks that are very redundant.
Oh, fuck yeah!
We can automate to a high level of accuracy fairly soon. I was actually having a conversation the other week about a guy who wants to put some automation in my gear so that he can get it onto my channels.
Right.
So I'll talk about it.
I'm surprised not all your gear's not GoPro to the hill.
Oh, no, because we moved away from that because the boys still need to dig, for one, and for two, one of my mates got taken to court about a picture that he posted online and got and done $300,000.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Really?
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. What they found, it wasn't about the picture. It was about his systems and his processes that he had in the back end that allowed that incident to happen. That got posted online and couldn't be, obviously couldn't be argued, but you have to be wary about it because it does come with risks. But so the guy came to me and he said, I want to automate some of your fleet. Automate some of your gear. We can get it to work in a specific environment, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, okay. Certain safety pen. Yeah, I get that. Okay.
Then he said to me, I want $35,000 a year.
For what?
Subscription.
Well, that's a genius.
Because, if it works.
Oh, fuck.
But I've got subscriptions in every hole that I got. Subscriptions for your accounting, subscriptions for your GPS. Everyone wants a subscription. Your gym wants a subscription. Video Easy wants a subscription. Your coffee shop gives you a subscription. You know, everything. And then this guy's like, well, your labor cost for that component is going to be more like 80 grand. I said, but that's not how you price business. You don't price it on what your competition's doing. Price it on your costs and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And that'll give you your rate. You don't say, oh, if you employ
100 fucking %. But the problem is you've got two worlds colliding. Practical versus
I told
academic by some,
I told him, I said to him, I really look forward to your competition because chances are they will also email me.
Correct. And then lower price and lower price and lower,
and then I will use them because I don't want subscriptions because I already got them. They're called wages. Okay, I've already got things that I'm signed up. Payroll tax.
Workers' comp. Public liability.
So I've already got all of them. The automation and where this uptake is going to come from, give me a once-off fee. Give me a once-off fee. I'll buy it, I'll plug it in, put it on the job site. I'll employ a guy to run it, and I'll employ a guy to run 3 of them.
It's like what happened between MyOb and Xero, where MyOb, you got addicted to, or even Kodak, the CD model. And then Xero, there was a guy who started Xero. Cloud. And then MyOb told him to get fucked. And then he went to Cloud, and then the rest is fucking history.
Mm-hmm. Blockbuster. They've got invited to go to Netflix or whatever it was. There's a huge story about.
Oh yeah, I've got the book. I've read it, man. We've spoken about your business growth. We've spoken about your personal philosophy. We've spoken about the importance of having your home life and your family life together. Is there anything that you would like yourself to discuss?
No, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty easy. Yeah. Well, I'm happy with how it is. I come into these things. Not that I've done that many, but I come into them with expectation of what we talk about because I think that you get a better outcome. Well, I'll find out once we walk outside from my 2 ring-ins if I get a better outcome from it. But just talking to people about the challenges of what the industry faces and the challenge of what business is, that's all I want to do. Like, that's all I've been posting on LinkedIn about. I think that it's very isolating, the world of business ownership and even high-level management. You know, everyone tells you what you should be doing, but no one actually discusses how it is, like how it actually is, like that work-life balance we keep on flicking back to. I can guarantee that every high-level manager probably doesn't fit within the framework of a great work-life balance.
No.
They're running around ragged, and I would like to tell people that that's okay. And I understand and I get it. And sometimes you feel like a shit dad when you might be 5 minutes late to a basketball practice or you don't actually get to basketball practice at all. But that's okay because, there's good things that are coming from that as well, which is important. And that's part of what I'm wanting to discuss as well around the odyssey and journey that we're talking about. Maybe a bit more from the other side from, a bloke who shouldn't really be on podcasts.
Well, why shouldn't you be on fuck podcast?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out if I should be in a year or 2 after I've done a couple more.
I'll tell you what, mate. We'll do this again, and we'll drink on the next one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I drink everything, just so you know, so you can deliver me the rum. But I like white wine, red wine. I like teenagers' drinks, only 18 and above, but you understand what I mean. I also like whiskey.
I can't do it.
No,
but you can do it.
Tequila. I'll bring some nice tequila if you like.
We can do that. I think I'd love to have an update. We'll get this posted out, do the shorts. You'll get all the copies. The boys will go nuts with their own stuff as well. Cut it up any way you see fit for your own stuff. See what we do. And let's catch up again in 6 months.
Done.
And we go, fuck, that was a fucking good idea, or fuck me.
I'm either going to have some great stories or I'll be really hoeing into those drinks in 6 months, let me tell you, because 2025 is my year to do shit.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. Like, last year was fucked.
Last year was shit, but more than that, now's the money time.
Yeah, 100%.
Now is where people make fortune, big money. For a whole lot of different things. Yeah. So this is why I'm going hard on LinkedIn and all of that now. This is why I'm going hard in business. This is why we're diversifying. We've got the machine, we've got the foundation, we're ready to rock and roll, and we'll take on any job and go anywhere.
Mate, I only wish you the best.
Thank you very much.
Very welcome. Thank you for coming aboard.
Appreciate it.